Tonight we are doing a 1-week series. We're going to have a conversation, as you see, about doing life together. But to start off with, I want you to think about the difference in walking through things in life when you're by yourself or alone or with other people. For instance, how many of you guys went to a haunted house a few weeks ago? Yeah, a few people? Okay. Now, had you gone to that haunted house by yourself, probably been way more scarier, right? But I'm guessing most of you probably went with a friend, and so you could handle it, right? It wasn't as scary. Or think about presenting something in front of a class. It's a little terrifying to do it by yourself, but if you have other people up there with you, it's a little more easy. Or think about trying out for a team. It's way easier if you've got friends that are also trying out for the team so that you can kind of help each other as the tryouts are happening. For me in my life, I think about several different things where it was awesome to have people in my life that helped me along the way. But there was one particular moment that I'm so glad I had people in my life to help me through it. How many of you know what a blind date is? Or let me say this. How many of you don't know what a blind date is? Okay, there's a few people. That's what I figured. There'd be a few people here. So here's what a blind date is. It's where you go on a date with someone and you've never seen them before. Now, in this day and age, that's almost impossible with social media because you can figure out what people look like. So I was invited to go on a blind date not long after I graduated high school. And had I not had some really good friends, some of my best friends, to be on that date as a group date, I probably wouldn't have gone. But I'm so glad I did because the person that I ended up dating is now my wife, April. So yeah, isn't that awesome that I went on a blind? Yeah, I'll take that. I went on a blind date, and now I married her. So the point is, it's so much better to walk through different things in life when we have people with us. It's less scary. It's less frightening. And the same thing is the same when it comes to church, when it comes to things of faith. Now, I'm not saying church is scary or things of faith are scarier, but it's so much better to have people walking with you to learn more about who God is and understand doubts and things that you're uncertain about, and you can walk through those things together. And that's why we put so much emphasis on tribes. That's why we put so much emphasis on small groups. In fact, one of our church's core values is that we believe that circles are better than rows. These rows are awesome. They're fine. They're great. You can learn a lot of things in rows. But it's not until you get into these circles, it's not until you get into a group of people until you get into those groups of people, that's where life change happens. And so that's what we're going to talk about tonight. That's what we're going to unpack tonight. You're obviously somewhat interested in tribes because you're here, but I want us to kind of dig into it and really understand why we get into small groups and why we put so much emphasis on that. And to do that, instead of just hearing from me, I've invited some amazing people to have this conversation. So y'all give them a round of applause as they walk out. Here they are. What's up? Come on out. Oh, coming from all different directions. David chose a different way. So, introduce yourselves as we begin our conversation. Go ahead.
My name is David. I'm in the Green Tribe. And yeah, I'm really excited to be up
What was
here.
it? Just your name. Oh, turn your mic on. Turn her mic on.
You got her?
No, she's not. Her mic's not on. Go ahead, Stacy, while we get it.
I'm Stacy. I'm with the Pink Tribe.
Pink Tribe.
Yep.
Now,
I'm Allie.
it's on.
Yeah, it's on. It just takes, it's a buffer.
I'm Allie. I'm in the Aqua Tribe.
Yes. So I have invited 2 seniors and an awesome tribe leader who's now on her 2nd tribe. She's one of our longest serving tribe leaders.
OG.
An OG.
Yes, 10 years.
So
10 years.
these group of people, they will have some great wisdom for you guys in our conversation. So obviously, like I said, you're somewhat interested in tribes, in small groups because you're here. But I understand there might be some reasons or some things that you just don't love about tribes or some excuses of why you may not make it a priority in your life. Here they are. Maybe you already have friends, and so you're like, why do I need more friends? I don't need church friends. I have friends. Why do I need some more? Maybe you don't like some of the people in your group. Maybe you're just like, man, I like going, but there's just a couple people in the group that get on my nerves. Maybe you don't trust some of the people in your group. You're fine with being here, but maybe there's just a level of trust that you're not willing to share with others. Or maybe you feel judged. Maybe, hey, there's some stuff I've done in my life and you just feel judged when you come. Or maybe you just don't want to talk to people. You're just not a people person. You don't love sharing things with others. I don't know. Maybe you guys have felt these same things before as you've thought about groups. But why are these maybe not some of the best reasons to have in mind as we think about groups? Who wants to jump in?
Well, I know at the beginning, I definitely felt, I don't know if I ever felt like these things directly, but like some of it.
Like in 6th grade, you mean?
Oh, yeah, right when I first started coming, it almost doesn't feel possible. Like, how am I going to go? They don't all go to my school. Like, this might be weird. We're going to go and talk about our emotions, like, in God. Like, that's so weird.
Yeah.
But even though it feels impossible, what I ended up finding over the years is that God made it possible.
Yeah.
And that it's that almost that impossibility made it great for me because I was like, man, this is better than I ever imagined. And so that's really how I got locked in. It didn't take long, but definitely at the beginning, it was a little bit scary.
Yeah, that makes sense. Like, in Wellspring Kids, if you go to church here, we have groups, but it's a little bit different than this kind of setup. So it's kind of hard to understand it at first.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Anybody else?
Yeah, and I think this is life. Like, you're going to go through this when you leave students. You're going to go through this on your sport teams. You're going to go through this with your college roommate probably. Yeah. This is life. You're going to not like some people at times, and you're going to not trust them at times. But the good thing is trust can be broken, and it can be repaired. You can like somebody, and it's a feeling, and you get to choose whether you're going to repair that or stay in it or walk in it. But it's life, and you're going to go through it for a very long time. Careers, colleges, y'all are going to go through it.
Yeah.
So stay with it.
That's good. Anything else, Alec?
I would just say, like, about if you already have friends that are outside of church, having, like, a specific group of friends that's inside of church can be a lot more rewarding in a lot of ways because having, like, a specific community to talk about, like, different things and having, like, that viewpoint can be really helpful.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so obviously we acknowledge there can be some things in your life where you can think of any excuse in the world not to try to commit to linking your life with others. But here's the deal. The Bible talks a lot about the importance of community. From the very beginning, God put an emphasis on being in community with others. As God created the earth, there was something he said after everything he created. When he created the sun and the moon, he created it and he said it was good. When he created the light and the dark, he said it was good. When he created the animals and the ocean, everything on the earth, after everything he created, he said it was good. And then he created man. And the only time he said it was not good, in Genesis 2, when he created man and he looked at man, he said, it is not good for man to be alone. So from the very beginning, God put a huge emphasis on us being in community with others and us linking our lives with other people. So, have you found this to be true in your life? Like, have you seen this importance in linking your lives with other people? Y'all talk about that. Why is doing life with others better? We'll get into more other stuff, but just in general.
I know for me, like, my thing is, like, everyone is not good at everything. And for the longest time, like, I thought that I was good at everything, and I was just so wrong about that. But when you realize that you're not good at everything, what you can do is you can have other people in your life almost fill those holes. So I always think about like a hand almost. So it's like, these are the things you're good at, and then here are like your gaps, and then you can take other people and they almost like fill that gap when you get to know them. And so it can kind of boost your life by filling in those cracks of things that you're not great at.
If you're willing to admit you're not great at something.
Yeah, exactly. And doing life not alone, doing life with other people shows you like, man, they're a lot better at that than me. And that's when you can kind of use them to fill those holes in your own life.
Any other words about?
I would also say, like, when you're going through, like, hard times, even if it's, like, something silly, like school, like something at school that you're bothered by, like, just having other people that are, like, also like in the same phase of life and whatever with like your tribe, that can be really helpful, like a support system and
Yeah,
stuff.
even the smallest things in life, it can be so important to have somebody to walk through. There's another spot later on in the New Testament where the writer of Hebrews talks about the importance of being in community with others. Check this out. He says, "Let us hold tightly without wavering to the hope we affirm, for God can be trusted to keep his promises. Let us think of ways to motivate one another to acts of love and good works." Keep going. "And let us not neglect our meeting together as some people do, but encourage one another, especially now that the day of his return is drawing near." So the writer here in a New Testament book in the Bible is, again, encouraging us. Don't neglect meeting together. Now, there's something important about this passage that I don't want us to miss. When he's writing these words, he's writing to a group of people, Jewish Christians at the time, who, if they had been found meeting with others and worshiping God, they could have been put in prison. They could have been even put to death. And even in that situation, this writer is saying, hey, it doesn't matter. It's so important that you meet together. It's so important that you continue to connect your lives with others, even to the point of you might be put in jail. Meet with others, because that's where God can grow your faith and help each other. What do you guys think about that passage? What jumped out at you there?
I think for me, it's the let us not neglect our meeting together, to not give up on each other, even when it's hard and when it's tough and when people have messed up, or when, our Purple Tribe went through some stuff back in the day, and they just kept meeting together and kept showing up. And they're so stinking close even now to this day, and you could not ask for a better relationship between all of them. So don't give up. And I think that a lot of it is, I might not feel like it. I might not feel like showing up. Okay, but choose it anyways.
Yeah.
Choose it anyways, because the good stuff comes when you choose it. It's not, I always kind of relate this to God didn't force us into love for him or a relationship with him, and we got to choose it. And you get to have the opportunity to choose people over and over again. Please hear me, even when they don't deserve it. Even when they don't deserve it, you still get to choose it. It is an opportunity you have.
So, you go ahead.
Well, I think that's really good, like when they don't deserve it, because I think another thing that we do is we neglect not only meeting together, but we neglect, it says encourage one another. We neglect encouraging one another. And I think when someone in our tribe makes a mistake, if we're not there to give them a hug and say it's okay and actually encourage them, I feel like, our society is not prone to encouragement all the time.
Yeah.
And that's what we're here for as a tribe, is that encouragement. It's not bringing each other down. So if we neglect encouraging one another, we're missing a big part of it. Mm-hmm. Neglecting showing up, but then also neglecting encouragement. We need to encourage each other. Tell our people, hey, you're doing a good job, because I know that it'd be great to hear that sometimes. Like in general, hearing that you're doing a good job, not only is it good for the person hearing it, but it's good for the person saying it too, because it shows you that they're actually doing okay when you encourage them.
And I want to say something too about y'all's schedules, because y'all have busy schedules. If there's any, y'all have busy schedules. Y'all doing sports, y'all doing school stuff, y'all studying, all of this stuff. Figure out how to prioritize.
Yeah.
Figure out how to prioritize people, this place, your relationship with God. Figure it out and do it with your tribe. Do it with your tribe leaders, because it's going to matter long term.
That's where I was about to go.
Yeah.
I'm glad you brought it up. So make it a priority. Don't give up. And make it a part of your schedule. Now, obviously, we realize that as there's going to be things that come up, and you can't be here some weeks. We get that. We understand that. But what Stacy's talking about is build it into your schedule. Make it a part of what you do. It's what your week looks like. And I promise you, as you do that week after week, after year, you'll see a huge benefit from it. What else, Allie? What else jumped out at you? Anything?
I like the part where it was talking about motivate each other and like love, and because whenever you're around other people that are also like invested in church and whatever, then you can you feel that, like you feel motivated to love other people and to continue to like spread that further around to other people as well.
Yeah, it says let us think of ways to motivate one another towards acts of love and good works, which speaks a little bit to what you talked about on the encouragement side, which it says that later. which what y'all are talking about is so countercultural. It's the norm in your groups of friends is to make fun of each other. I mean, it's part of how you show you like each other. I understand that. But how often are you truly motivating each other towards love and towards encouragement?
Well, I love that too, because it's like if you're in a bad mood and then you're around a group of people that are in a good mood and they're motivating you to do nice things, then like as a group in public, you're just gonna be kind to people.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like restaurants
Yeah.
are gonna love to wait your table.
Right.
Because you're not gonna be rude because you're motivating each other to treat each other with kindness. And that's really spreading Jesus' love the best. That's a great point.
They better love to wait on your table.
Yeah, it's true.
You are a representative of the God of the universe. And so that might be the only God they ever see is through you. So set an example when you're at a restaurant. Tip well as well. Any waiters or waitresses out there? You're like, yes, tip well. So that's a good point. The other thing I want to point out on this verse at the very beginning, it says, let us hold tightly without wavering to the hope we affirm, for God can be trusted to keep his promises. When we meet together, we encourage each other. We help each other towards love and good works. But ultimately, when we meet together, we are reminded of the hope that we have in God. We're reminded of what God did for us. So that's just another huge benefit of meeting together. The writer of Hebrews spent a lot of time in his book talking about the importance of having the right people in your life, obviously, as he's talking about encouraging people to meet together. But he also talked about the importance of having a leader in your life that has gone before you and that has gone through things in life that you can learn from. And I want us to think about the leaders that we have here. Every leader that's in this room, get this, signed up to volunteer to be here on a weekly basis. They signed up to be with you on a weekly basis to help you, to encourage you, to help you along all that life brings your way. So that's just a reminder for you as students about the importance that these leaders have put on being here to be in your life. But here's another reminder for you. They have signed up to be here for you, to be here for your real self. They don't need a pretend version of you. They want to know you. They want to know you just as you are so that they can encourage you, so that they can help you. If you're just showing a fake version of yourself, that's not doing anybody any good. They're not going to be able to help you truly in the way that you need it. So I want us to talk about that. How have you guys, David, you talked about it a little bit this morning, on Sunday morning, but how have you guys seen the importance of having leaders in your life? And then Stacy, are you blowing a kiss to, was it Cliff? Yeah, you do like Cliff.
That's what I taught. No.
Yeah. From this morning.
Somehow,
You
50-50.
cried more for Cliff. So
By second hour, I was used to it. We've talked about it. I love you both, and I cry for you both at any point in time.
So I want y'all to talk about that. And then Stacy, I want you to talk about both you having leaders in your life that have poured into you, and then from your perspective, as you signed up, and now for a second time, to lead students, that perspective and the value of that. So whoever wants to jump in.
Okay, I'll go. I think for me, obviously, my biggest leaders have been TJ and Eric, honestly. They've walked me through a lot of mess and a lot of things that I wouldn't have been able to get through. And then I also have Danny, she's Pink Tribe, but she's my best friend in the world. But I had Purple Tribe back in the day, and they are insanely close. And what they taught me was way more than I know that me and Madison ever taught them. I mean, they're incredible. Half of them are your leaders now, Kylie, Haley, Reagan, Nadia, Casey. I mean, they're watching them figure out life and figure out school and planning weddings and a management position, like all kinds of good things. And now they're pouring into y'all. It's the most beautiful thing ever. But what I will tell you, and something I have learned, is your leaders will mess up. Like, they will mess up.
Yeah.
And you get the opportunity to walk through with them and walk through in love and walk through in grace, because y'all are going to mess up too. And your leaders are going to love you, and they're going to walk with you, and they're going to be there for you. Just don't give up on meeting with each other, and go to your leaders. They are there for you in incredible ways. I cannot say it enough.
Talk about the importance of being real, like what I talked about.
Yeah, you guys, there's nothing good that happens in fakeness. There is nothing good that happens when you can't be honest and vulnerable and real, and that is going to feel uncomfortable at first. It is not going to feel pleasant. And God doesn't call us to a place of comfort. A lot of times he wants us to go out of our comfort zone and say what's wrong or say what's bothering us. Even if you think it's minor, if you are feeling it, it is important. And there are people here to walk that with you. You might think it is the dumbest thing in the world and you don't want to talk about it. Talk about it anyways, because you don't need a root to become something else. So I would say be real, be open, be vulnerable. The good stuff happens in those moments, not when you're hiding.
I love that, because I feel like, you know, in middle school and high school, you're going to be fake. Like, at some point, it's just going to happen. You're going to try and put on a facade or be a certain person at a certain time. Mm-hmm. So if you're going to be fake, don't be fake here. Especially be real here, because you're getting adults like Miss Stacy who are putting their time.
Miss Stacy, do you hear that? Miss Stacy.
I'm always going to call you Miss Stacy. Putting their time and love into you, and you're getting an outside perspective. Like, that's another adult other than your parents that care about you. You know how valuable that is? Because your parents, you know, they're always in there. So their advice is great, and you should listen to your parents. But again, it's really good to have that outside, almost more surface level perspective. And if you're real with that, then it's going to give you way more benefits than if you're fake coming into Tribe. So as hard as it may be, put it all down. Tear down all your walls when you're here. Of course, we are teenagers. We are going to have times of insecurity and fakeness. Take down those walls of insincerity when you're here. Yeah. And I love that.
Yeah, I would say, like kind of on the same note, one thing about my tribe leaders in my tribe is that we are always very honest and very open. We make a safe place because we always are honest with each other. And sometimes that is not always, like, sometimes we say things
a little too open.
that are a little too open. But that's how we're also close, and that's how we trust each other with everything, because we're so honest, and that's really important.
Yeah, you talked about make it a safe place. Mm-hmm. We'll hit that more in a minute, but that's so important. Yeah,
I do want to say, now that I'm leading 7th grade girls, me and Danny, you hear conversations a little differently as I'm not leading seniors anymore. I'm leading 7th grade girls. But you hear that I don't want to come to students because everyone in there is so fake. They act one way at school, so they're not acting the same way at church. So what? Like, they're at church, and you have the opportunity to build into them and to love them and to be that person for them when they do walk in the school doors. Maybe they feel like you can't be that person for them when they walk through the school doors. Be that same person that you are here. But even if they're not, that is not a reason to talk about it, to not come. You just need to find a way to love them and invite them in.
Because you're going to get it wrong sometimes, too.
Yes, 100%. 100%.
So our bottom line, the point of all of what we're talking about tonight, is that when it comes to your tribe, you get out what you put in. You get out what you put in. Reflect on that. When it comes to your tribe, you get out of it what you put into it. And we've kind of already talked through that. Anything else y'all would add to that?
I would say for me, the best way to think about our tribe, do any of you guys work out? Raise your hand if you work out. Like, you go to a weight room or something like that? Okay. Y'all will probably work out more when you get a little bit older, maybe. But a tribe is almost like a weight room, okay? In terms of you get out what you put in. If you guys are trying to get stronger, can you go to the gym once a month and then expect to get stronger?
No.
No, you have to go on a consistent basis, multiple times a week. And when you're there, right, even if you go consistently, can you just joke around and talk and not really get serious and not actually lift weights? Will you get any stronger?
No.
You have to consistently go and consistently put in hard work. And when you're here at Tribe consistently and you're putting in intentional time with your people, you're going to grow stronger with them. Yeah. And so it's very similar in that way, where you have to be very intentional with how much you're coming and what you're doing with your time when you're here. So
that's good.
Treating it like a weight room, like you're trying to get stronger with those people, you have to put in the work and be here on a consistent basis to be able to build those muscles with each other, just like you would build your muscles in the weight room.
I would also say, like, the more you do it, though, the easier it's going to get.
Yes, 100%.
Just like anything, like building any skill or whatever, the more you do it, it's going to get easy.
Yeah.
And it won't be such hard work anymore.
Being open, being here, all those things are just easier the more you do.
That's a great point.
No, that's what I was going to say. Allie nailed it. She got it.
So you get out of it what you put in. So what should we be putting in? Let's think about these things. The first thing is to be present. You got to be here. Commit to being here. We talked about it already. Make this a priority. Make it be a part of your schedule. The next thing is create a safe place once you're here. What does that mean? That means being real, like we talked about earlier. It means also having a fierce commitment to protecting the safety of people being open. It's protecting people's vulnerability in those moments. And the third thing is to make it personal. Make it personal. Be your real self. You can't expect other people to share unless you share as well. Which of these things jump out to y'all? What do y'all want? Is there anything else you want to emphasize on these?
I think make it personal. I mean, really, make it personal. I don't ever think y'all should neglect the influence you already have where you are in your tribes as students. I'm just going to shout out to Alyssa in our 7th grade tribe. She is insanely good about sending us messages about how much she's looking forward to Pink Tribe. And don't forget, it's Tribe Night tonight. Make sure you're there. I mean, she is leading me and Danny when we're still in our nap. So, like, it is, I mean, she is leading us and motivating us and spurring us on. So don't neglect your influence that you already have right now to reach out to your tribe in whatever way y'all communicate. I know some of y'all have Instagram pages or whatever it is, but don't neglect what you have already right before you in your influence.
And I would say, if you're scared about making it personal, just like what Allie was saying, being present, in terms of this list, being present is going to make being personal easier. And so I would definitely just say be present. They're all three important, but being present is the quickest way to get to that point where you can make it personal, just like you were saying.
Anything else? Good.
Yeah, just once you do all that stuff, then you'll have a safe space. You know?
Ooh,
That's right.
really good.
They all kind of work together.
Yeah, they do.
So what's the point tonight? The point is we are created, we are made for more than just surface level friendships, for more than surface level relationship. We're made for so much more. We're made for a deep connection with other people. So put a little work into it. Make it a priority in your life. And I promise you, you'll see so much benefit from it. These guys who have now as seniors have been able to see the benefit of all these years of investing in their tribe. And Stacy, as she has seen, she's taken one tribe all the way through and now starting over, seeing the benefit of weekly pouring into one another and growing in all the ways that God wants us to grow as we're in community with one another.
It is so worth it. I would say if I could go back in time to 6th grade, I would somehow try and put even more time into it. So I'm telling y'all right now, just invest as much as you can. It is so worth it. I found myself so grateful for students lately as I'm heading into the next stage of my life. So,
And good note there, even as a 6th grader, put so much into it. And think about this, as I talked about at the very beginning, it can literally change your perspective on just coming to church. If you know that you're coming to church and you've got a group of people that'll be there waiting on you, it can change how you feel about church. It can change about how you feel about your faith. So even as 6th graders, make this a priority. Invite people to join you. And then by the time you're a senior, you can reap all the benefits of putting that work in and investing so much in your group. Because when it comes to your tribe, you get out what you put in. Help me thank these guys for being up here with me. Yeah, thank y'all. Let me pray for us, and we'll get to tribes. Lord, we thank you for tonight. Thank you for just the value of putting our lives connected to other people. Help us to realize that value. And help us to know that you've placed other people on this planet, in our lives, in close relationship with us, to add value to our lives, to point us more towards you, and to point to the hope that we have in you. So help us continue to make this a priority, continue to be here, and continue to do everything we can to help others be pointed to you. Thank you for these students. Thank you for all that you're doing in their lives. And I pray that you will just guide our conversation tonight. In Jesus' name, amen.